Hi, this is Keith. I am going to try and video me running the 3-layer prompt that I've given to Swapna and Elliot to set up a personal knowledge assistant in VS Code using Github Copilot. I haven't scripted this, so expect it to be a bit rough, but it might be fun. On my clipboard, I have the prompt. So I'm going to grab my right here. Come on, Keith, you can do this. Let's make this a little bigger. I am in a folder called Tom because I decided I'll call this assistant Tom. I'm going to paste in the prompt and let me see if I can make this. Well, let's scroll up real quick just so we can read through it. It's quite a long prompt. Elliot and Swapna, you've seen it already. You others should be able to find it somewhere. And it's basically saying it's going to be a 3-layer knowledge assistant having identity, durable memory, current state. It will interview me first to learn about me, and then it will build the files. Instead of calling it Claude.md, it should be doing what it needs to do for GitHub, which uses a slightly different file naming for the agent instructions. And then there is a talk about the rituals that keep everything up to date automatically without ever having to think about it. So there we go. Let's go ahead and send that to Copilot. And yes, I will trust this folder. So here comes the interview. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can do this. What is your name? What do you do? And where do you work? These are dummy answers. So we're talking to Dana here. He's building his own little assistant named Tom and says he's an Excel expert and uses their truck logic transport management system. Otherwise, he's a normal computer user. So plain English for everything outside of those two areas. Tools he works in every day. Include Truck Logic, Excel, and Outlook, Teams for messaging, SharePoint for shared documents, and occasionally Power BI. And who your work is for. And it made these questions really long. Oh, it did all the questions instead of one at a time. So that's interesting. Repeat your questions one at a time. Starting with yeah, it made up the answers. That's really interesting. Okay, well, let's pretend here. I don't know, this worked better for me in VS Code at Wells Fargo, but I wanted to get it videoed. So the answer that was hallucinated by VS Code here was mostly colleagues with a few customers and a few people higher up the chain. operations team, etc. And then the next question, what are you actively working on right now? I'm gathering the context. Please give me state, next step, blocked or deadline. Here's Dana's answer. I have 3 active things: weekly planning workbook for the depots, tidy up driver availability reporting, looking at a small reporting issue around missed loads. I have 1 thing that is paused, should not be chased right now, a broader review of the depot handover process. I do want to make it clear that I'm not trying to build big new systems. I mostly want practical tools that help me work faster and with less friction. And let's see what it gives us. Give me your next question. How do you like to be talked to? Here's my sample answer, direct and short. Don't ask permission for reversible work. Don't explain the reason unless I ask. Pros, not bullet points, blah, 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 blah. And you can ask AI for samples of how to answer that question. And then it gave me more sample answers. I get very frustrated when people over explain. Are there any lessons you've already learned the hard way that belong in durable memory? Yes. One is that Excel formulas are often fine until they are copied into the wrong sheet of the wrong workbook and quietly break. Truck logic is okay. Third, I don't like being bounced between too many tools for a simple task. I've had enough bad experiences treating shared files as if they were private. Probably enough for one day. I'll summarize sorry, that was the end of Dana's answer. This is AI saying that's probably enough for one day. I have the main shape. Here's what I heard from you. You're Dana Whitcomb, blah, blah, blah. Your work is mainly, you've also 1 item paused. If anything here is wrong, correct it, and I will move to step 2. So I'll say go to step 2. All right, it's going to now build out the workspace structure, and this is really the part I want to be able to show in the video. And I'm not cutting this video, so you guys may have to fast forward when there are pauses here. Okay, so it's going to create the structure and set up the initial files. Then it's going to read them back. Now it is setting up a claude.md. I don't know, we may have to tell it to fix that because it shouldn't be claude.md. It should be in the, well, we can say, we'll see. I'm creating the durable memory file, the initial project folders. So you can see in the editor or the file menu, file explorer, that it's added about me, outputs. Here's 3 files in about me. Here's outputs folder for each of the 3 projects. And here's projects folders for each of the 3 projects. Let's see if there's anything in these output folders. There is not. Is there anything in the project folders? There's a Claude MD, an Agent MD file for each one and a status file. And here's just a short status that it's gleaned from the interview. Same thing here. Here's another status for the missed loads departures. I left this in light mode to hopefully make it a little easier to see on the video. All right, so it tells us that step 2 is complete. It's created the workspace, and here are the files it created. I read the files back after writing them. The authoritative project list is in session MD. Here's the ritual, the first greeting. Hi, Dana. I've read the current setup and the weekly planning workbook is the most time sensitive for the week ahead. Blah, blah, blah. All right, let's keep the changes to all those files. And then let's go here and let's start a new session. And let's just say good morning. How can I help you today? So it didn't do what it was supposed to do. So let's go back to this one and see if we can get it to fix. You were supposed to change the name of the Claude.md file to whatever system, whatever this system uses. This is GitHub Copilot in VS Code, and it does not recognize Claude.md files. Rename them. In the way VS Code expects. GitHub Copilot, I guess I should say GitHub Copilot expects. And if anything outside this workspace needs to be changed, tell me what and how to do it. All right, let's see what it does. I'm looking at my clock. I have 8 minutes before my next meeting, so this video is going to get recorded in that time, I guess. It wants me to run a PowerShell command. I'll go ahead and allow it to do that. I'm in a sequestered part of my drive, so I'm pretty comfortable. The workspace level instruction file is now in the Copilot recognized location. And then it's updating other references. I'm going to grab that sentence there. And the file rename is done. The rename is in place. And for those of you that aren't aware of it, when there's a note like this, you can actually, like this, search for regex and updated session start prompt.md. You can go here and click this little arrow at the end, and instead of pointing to the right, it'll point down and expand whatever that conversation was. So you can actually kind of expand those things and watch the thinking of GitHub Copilot as you go. So the root instruction file changed to copilot instructions.md. I may need to reload the VS Code window or reopen the folder. Add a short note in the workspace explaining the root instruction file is now copilot instructions MD, so future edits are obvious. Notice that when I hover over it, it shows me the path, which is .github/copilot instruction MD. So I'm going to reveal that in File Explorer because I want to see where it is. Okay, so it is in the Tom file space. So it should be, but it's at the root of it. It should be making everything work correctly now. So I'm going to keep those changes. I'm not going to ask it to do anything else. I am just going to go ahead and close VS Code. Then I will reopen VS Code. And I will start a new session. And I will say, good morning. and it has routed that to the GPT-5 mini because I'm set on auto for my agent down here, and it didn't look like it did that. Let's go look. Is that because that, no, there's GitHub. Let's look at this Copilot instructions. Make this a little smaller. How's my time? 5 minutes. There it describes the 3 layers. Here's the ritual 1 at the start of a session. So let's try this. Read, and I'm going to grab this path. Can I grab it from here as a path? No, I should be able to grab it here as a path. Copy path and do what it says. All right, I've read the session MD. It says, here's your stuff. Before we go on, should we rename the project level Claude.md files as agent.md? You notice each of the projects has a Claude. Weekly planning workbook does. Yes, it does. I just didn't have it expanded. Checking whether the current project files and references already expect Claude MD or a different naming convention. Yes. Projects is only present as project file names and there are no workspace references. Please do so. All right, so it created a quick little PowerShell script to change the names, and boom, agent MD, agent MD, agent MD. And now I'm going to close VSCode and open it one more time. And in the last minute, I'm going to start a new session, right? I have to click this little pane here to show the chat pane and the chat history, and that's where I can get to new session. And I'm just going to say good morning because that's supposed to prompt him to get this going. Ready to help. Didn't do that. Give me a daily briefing. If that doesn't work, we'll just say, tell me what my projects are and which ones are there you go. Now it's reading them. All right. So there's lots of refinement we could still do to this, but that shows you how you can set up your own personal knowledge assistant as an AI assistant that learns more and more about you. And happy AIing. Have fun with turning AI into your own personal assistant that willingly does everything you ask it to do.